Hi everyone, welcome back to my Royal Life News channel. The story for today is it's rare these days that I agree with the perpetually aggrieved and preternaturally deluded utterings of the man formerly known as His Royal Highness Prince Henry of Wales. But the self-styled Fresh Prince of Montecito hit the nail on the head this week when he re-injected himself into the royal narrative, effectively offering himself as a proxy for the late Prince Philip by declaring himself as his grandmother's defender-in-chief. "I'm just making sure that she's, protected and got the right people around her," he revealed, after he and Meghan dropped in for tea with the monarch ahead of her 96th birthday on Thursday. "Oh Harry, notwithstanding the irony that you are so evidently the number one person she needs protecting against, you're so right. It's not just our well-being and happiness which is guaranteed by those we choose to surround ourselves with, it's our very existence. If Julius Caesar had the right people around him, he may not have been slaughtered by his senators, while Jesus, likewise, might have racked up a few more decades if he hadn't invited Judas Iscariot to his wine and cheese evening." While politics is littered with leaders who effectively skewered themselves thanks to their poor choice of lieutenants, Harry's concern is not misplaced considering his family's history of being undone by questionable liaisons and allegiances. Indeed, the Queen wouldn't be Queen if her dopey Uncle Edward hadn't succumbed to the charms of the crown-wrecking Wallace Simpson, proof that a problematic choice for one person may turn out to be a saving grace for many. Henry VIII clearly could have kept his guillotine clean if he'd sought some basic marriage guidance from a trusted advisor, and Prince Charles might have saved himself all manner of bother if he'd stood up to his family and insisted in his 20s that the chain-smoking Camilla Shand was exactly the right person to have around him. Though happenstance delivered the Queen a worthy consort and reliable sounding board in the form of the Duke of Edinburgh, a family with the Windsor's means are well placed to pay for the right people. Though it does help if they pay attention to them, Prince Andrew may have retained his HRH and some fragment of credibility if he'd listened to his PR guru Jason Stein, who strongly advised him against doing the disastrous Newsnight interview where he invoked his tendency to be too honorable, and his inability to sweat as proof of his innocence against underage sex claims. Stein quit soon after, which brings us to Harry and his tone-deaf tendency to distribute advice which he'd be better off directing at himself. If anyone needs to surround himself with the right people, it's Harry. The sixth in line to the throne is instinctive and heart-driven, as evidenced by his brilliant concept for the Invictus Games. But he is only one misjudged comment away from destroying the relevance he so desperately craves. Good on him for choosing his own path, but as half-prince, half-influencer he exists at the tricky axis of monarchy and celebrity where there is no precedent beyond his mother's pre-social media toe tip into such status. When it comes to right people, he has his wife to supply a sushi train of relatable causes, but Harry desperately needs a top-level strategist and a PR maestro, preferably one who's worked in the mainstream media he so loves to hate. For years, British Prime Ministers have hired advisors with Fleet Street backgrounds because they know how to spin a narrative. It's why Tony Blair's right-hand man Alastair Campbell, the man who dubbed Diana, the People's Princess, was quietly asked to advise the Queen on her tribute to her late daughter-in-law. It was Campbell who suggested she refer to herself as a grandmother. Had Harry sought such advice before the interview he and Meghan conducted with Oprah Winfrey, he might have avoided a series of clangers. A media expert would have fact-checked the legitimacy of his pre-wedding wedding, the claims that the couple's son Archie wasn't offered a title, and the suggestion that Meghan was denied psychological help by the palace. The right person might also have warned of the fallout from positioning his family as racist. In choosing to move away from the royal family where his military service made him such an effective conduit between crown and country, Harry needs to fund his family. But by hopping into bed with Netflix, a streaming service which actively appears to be undermining Prince Charles, he has not considered the consequences. A strategist would help him structure a career which focuses on service, plays to his strengths and remunerates him for his unique position. Harry, like his late grandfather, lacks diplomacy, but while Prince Philip would offend others, he knew instinctively how to protect his wife. He would have told her that she was mad for suggesting that Harry and Meghan could join the royal family on the balcony for trooping the colour, thus detracting attention from her Jubilee year. "Get a grip, Lilibet," he might have said. Now past the dewbonnet, it's quiet for sure, but what a thrill to be reconnecting with the island Australians have long loved. The Balinese are so keen to see us. Either follow my friend Lana Hershowitz on Instagram for her fab suggestions or listen to the podcast What Should I Read Next with Anne Bogle. Both a great movie. I loathe thrillers but was encouraged to watch Run with Sarah Paulson by my teen. Creepy but great. That is all for today news. Please make sure to leave your comment and subscribe the channel below for more news update. Thank you for watching.